Hello guys, and welcome once again to my channel. If you have been here and if you haven't, it is so very nice of you to pass by. I do hope that you hit that subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, make sure that you turn on that little bell so that you get notified whenever I upload. So for today's video, I'm going to be creating this gorgeous look with the most beautiful palette that I have ever seen ever. So if you want to see how I did this look, just keep on watching. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is prime my eyelids to make sure that the shadows stay in place all day and also that they don't crease. Not that I've ever had that problem with ColourPop, but you know, just to be safe. And for that, I'm using the Essence eyeshadow base. Then I'm going to set that primer, and since I don't have a light matte shadow shade in the palette, I'm just using some translucent powder. Next, I'm taking the shade called Duchess, which is a nice orangey peachy shade, and I'm applying that all over my crease, upper lower crease, and also into my outer corners. And this is going to act as a transition shade, and once I apply the darker shade later on, it's going to help it blend better, and it's going to create a nice, smooth, seamless transition. Usually most people will want to use like a brown shade or a taupey shade, but there are actually no brown shades at all in this palette, and I'm actually kind of loving it because it makes the palette so different from everything else that I've seen everywhere else. It's basically like rose shades, and it's just stunning. And since there are no brown shades in the palette, for the deepest part of my crease, I'm using the color DAMSEL, which is a dark purple. And as you can see, it totally works. It makes the look so beautiful. And I'm using this to smoke out the look, obviously. So I'm applying that in the deepest part of my crease, like I said, and also my outer corners. So basically, I'm going from top to bottom and also from more to less. So the darker the shadow, the more precise and the smaller the brush that I'm using. I'm also applying DAMSEL all across the crease from the outer to the inner corner, but I'm not applying it on the inner corner, just like right on top of it, if that makes sense. And right after I do that, I always like to go back with the first shade that I used as a transition shade, which in this case is Duchess, just to blend out the rough edges, but I still felt like it needed a little bit something more. So I took MISSY, which is like a reddish shade, and I'm applying that in between Duchess and DAMSEL, and that just helped those two other colors just look more seamless and just blend together even better. And I am applying that right on top of the purple but below the orange one, literally in the middle where they meet. Next, I'm taking the shade Gal, which is so beautiful. It is classified as a metallic, but I feel like it's more like a pressed glitter. It's so pretty. So I started applying that with a brush, but then I felt like I wanted more of that glitter, so I just ended up using my fingers, and that worked out perfectly. And now moving on to liquid liner, and if my shadow looks super weird right now, it's because I first used a liner and I ended up hating the way it looked, and I hated the product that I was using, so I removed the whole thing. So I had to kind of like reapply some parts of the shadows. As you can still kind of see the empty spots, like the little bold spot in the outer corner, but we're just rolling with it. So I ended up applying my NYX liquid matte liner, or matte liquid liner, however it is, and this never fails me. It's beautiful. And then I'm applying some falsies, which I haven't done in so long, but it's because my eyes are, I don't know what's wrong with them, honestly. Everything is like irritating them, especially glue and glitter. So I'm like avoiding falsies at the moment, but for today I'm applying some, and these are the 110 Studio by ARDELL. Now I'm not completely done with my eyes, but for now we're going to move on to the face. I did prime my face already. I used the Dr. Brown Pores No More primer, which is really good, and I'm applying my Anastasia Beverly Hills stick foundation, which I still really like. I'm just kind of trying to use different foundations at the moment. I have so many and I need to use them up, so I'm applying that foundation and I'm blending that out with the Crown Brush oval brush. This is not the name, it will be written down below, but that is not the name of this brush. It has like a few letters and a number, but that's what I'm using, and it gives me a beautiful finish. Then for concealer, I'm applying my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, which you guys know it is my favorite, and I'm applying that on my under eyes, down the center of my nose, and also the center of my forehead. And I am blending that out with the Pure Sponge which I still don't know the name of, but it's just their blending sponge. It's pretty good. And I'm still using the exact same sponge, which by the way is damp. That is the best way to use it, to apply some under eye translucent powder. This one is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, and it is amazing. You can just see the difference between both sides when I'm finished with one side and not the other. It just looks more lifted. It looks, there's like no lines, no creasing. It's just amazing. And I do apply a lot of it and just keep blending with the sponge until I see no more powder, as opposed to like dusting away the residue. And to set my foundation, I have been super into the L'Oreal Pro Matte powder. It gives me extra coverage and it just looks my skin look perfect, flawless. It is so good. Then to contour, I'm actually using a new product today. Well, it's not new because I've used it before, but not on videos, and it is from the EB Beauty brand. This is their contour palette, and this is the second shade. It looks exactly like the ABH one, but I think I like this one better. Then going back to the eyes, I'm taking the shade Duchess once again, and I'm applying that on my under eye. I'm just doing that with a little pencil buffing looking brush, and then I'm taking the darker one, which is Damsel, and I'm applying that right on the lash line. And then after I do this, I always like to go back with the first brush that I use and just like blend both colors together, and it just gives me a better looking transition as opposed to like two separate lines. And then I'm taking Ladylike, which is a nice bright shade, and I'm applying that in my inner corner for a little pop of highlight. And speaking of highlight, I'm using for the very first time the Artist Couture Diamond Powder, and as you can see, this thing is amazing. This is the shade Illuminati. I got it in a BussyCharm. And then for blush, I'm really into this blush by Essence right now. This is in the shade Satin Love, and it is so pretty and it blends so beautifully. And then to finish off this entire look, you could apply like a nude shade or even like a light pink shade, would look really pretty. But I wanted to go the dark route, so I'm applying Mamacita, also by ColourPop. This one is from the I Love Satin collection, and it is exactly what I wanted to finish off this look. And that will bring us to the end of this video. I love how this look turned out. I love this palette so much. I love this lip shade so much. This whole look is just perfection in my eyes. I think it's so beautiful. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye.